Good morning.
Good morning.
How are y'all?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. How's the weather there?
It's been like nice and hot, and today it's a little cooler, and I think we're going to get some rain
Okay.
like in about an hour. So it's a little gloomy, but it's been nice.
It's funny because it's the opposite for us. We've had some nice, cool weather, and today now it's going to be like 90. Tomorrow, I think 95. So, but we're in the valley too. So it's, a
Yeah.
little more hot here than it was where you are from on the coast.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Well, that's nice. It's nice that you're getting some nice cool weather. I feel like a lot of people start getting sick when it turns back and forth, cooled
Oh,
off,
yeah.
cold.
Well, it felt like the longest winter. So once it finally was hot, like I'm happy. I'm
Yeah.
happy. I never realized it, but the winters here, like you get kind of depressed actually because you can't go out and do stuff. And
Mhm.
I didn't even realize, that I never went through that in California.
That's how it was
Really?
when we lived in Oregon. When we first moved there, we couldn't understand why everybody was outside. I mean, but the whole town, it seemed like, was outside when it was nice. And then we got it after the first winter. It's like, whoa, like you really take advantage of those nice days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been outside like every minute, like
Yeah.
gardening, just making up reasons to be outside just because
Mhm.
it's like so nice.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, even
So,
the Costco's up there would sell like vitamin D lamps. And
oh,
I mean, you don't see
yeah.
that in here down in California.
No, no, no.
'Cause, yeah, I remember telling somebody that, like, "Ooh, I'm having a hard time with the weather here. It's making me like, feel blue, or gloomy." And they said, "Oh, go to Costco and get a vitamin D lamp." It's like, wow, you live in a climate that has a lot of rain and, a lot of
Yeah,
cloudy days when they sell those.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to get one for next winter. I was like, all of a sudden I was like, man, I just feel like being active and outside and like I feel so great. And I didn't even put two and two together. I'm like, why have I not been feeling this way? And like, because it's been so cold and you have to be inside,
Oh yeah.
most of the time. So anyways,
Abs-
it just totally affects your mood.
Oh yeah. I remember I was talking to my doctor up there and he did like a blood panel and he said, "Oh my gosh, you're so low on your vitamin D." That's when we lived in Oregon. And he said, "You don't have that problem when you live in Southern California. You don't see that." So yeah, it is. It's so true. And it's just
Yeah.
amazing too. Like I look at pictures and I look at how white we were when we were there, because even when we had like the 6 weeks of nice weather, it still was only like 85. Here it's like I go to practice on a Saturday morning at 8 o'clock, and even in the winter you have to put sunscreen on or you're going to burn.
Hmm.
It's just crazy how different it is.
I know. I know. I'm pretty white now.
I was pretty white when we lived or in fact, my daughter was just saying that the other day. She goes, "Guy, I was looking at pictures and we were all so white." Like, and it's not like I have a tan now. In fact, my friends in Oregon will say stuff on Facebook like, "Wow, you're so tan." It's like I haven't been I don't lay out in the sun. It's just from being outside. But
Yeah.
I, yeah, it is. It's crazy how different this here. You have to worry about skin cancer, and there
Yeah.
you're worried about getting enough vitamin D.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
crazy. I mean,
it is.
we do get a pretty long summer here, so that's nice, but then it gets like unbearable. So it's like one extreme to the other, and it's
Yeah,
humid, so it's like you can't even breathe when you go outside. It's so humid.
yeah,
But I mean, compared to some places, Tennessee is still pretty mild, I think. I don't know, but
yeah.
um yeah. Anyways, it's been good weather and I've been happy. I've been outside. So,
Good, good. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and get started.
okay.
All right. Here we go. Start off with common words. Whisper, listen, won't, happy, ground, deep, drop, shrug, dress, fell, theirs, yell, breath, air, tear, sister, chair, kitchen, matter, hurt, fall, where, isn't, woman, eat, lie, hell, suppose, cover, couple, large, either, 5, leg, jump, die, return, able, bag, alone, shut, stuff, short, ready, understand, kept, plan, raise, street, different, problem, break, line, early, cut, cold, paper, scream, instead, stupid, silence, tree, cot, ear. All right, let's do some consonant compounds. Here we go. And this emphasizes the final BS, final RN, final RL. The tabs are paid at the pubs. The labs are near the clubs. The cab's hubs were stolen. The bibs belong to Mr. Tibbs. She fibs about her jobs. The mob's broke. The watch fobs. The barn will burn if the lantern is lit. Please turn the torn sheet over. Did you learn the name of the fern from Laverne? He was born in the morn. The sheep were shorn in a pattern. The tern laid eggs in the corn. The apparel belongs to the girl. Carl painted the mural. Merle put a spiral curl in her hair. Did Mac hurl the pearl at Lynn or at Shirl? Did Burl whirl the girl? The coral was found in the laurel near the barrel. All right. Let's do some names and addresses. Here we go. Stephen C. Schaller, Schaller, 305 East 4th Street, Waterloo, Illinois, 62298. Janet L. King, King, Stagecoach High School, Route 2, Box 114, Robbinsville, North Carolina, 27771. Ms. Hayette H. Bonaparte, Bonapart, 13705 Greenbrier Drive, Dale City, Oregon, 97832. Rachel B. Barry, Barry, P.O. Box 1167, APO, San Francisco, California, 96555. Gigi L. Caddick, Cadic, 3316 Hackley Drive, Kettering, Ohio, 45420. Ms. Kimberly A. Burden, Burden, Route 1, Box 634, Scottsville, Colorado, 84590. H.J. Cross, Crose, 65 Willow Spring Road, Baltimore, Maryland, 21220. Shelley M. Hill, Hill, Route 3, Box 42B, Taylorville, Illinois, 62568. Paul L. Schultz, Schultz, Blue Earth County, offices in Mankato, Minnesota, 56001. All right, now I've got some common phrases. Here we go. About how large, about how long, about how many, about how much, about how often, how about, on or about, what about, according to, all right, sir, all the, is that all, that is all, are also, is also, what I am, where I am, whether or not I am, which I am, are also, are the, that are, that you are, there are, we are, what you are, when you are, where you are, whether or not you are, whether you are, which are, as a matter of fact, as a matter of law, as a result, as far as as follows, as I understand, as long as much, as soon as well as. All right. Here are some sentences with different phone numbers and addresses. Here we go. The phone number to the store is 676-7714. Her phone number is 649-2386. His address is 1141 Cole Street. Our new phone number is 342-8553. Send this to her address at 72984 Market Street. Did you say her phone number is 875-5189? His phone number is 951-781-5130. Right, now here's the drill that is the continuation from what we did the other day, except this one focuses on from the, in the, on the. Here we go. Leave from the station, bird in the cage, man on the street, page from the book, girl in the picture, print on the page, cop from the city, trip in the car, house on the computer, letter from the store, hole in the pavement, gun on the table, house on the corner, letter from the doctor, article from the paper, defendant in the case, house on the block, body in the river, rate on the loan, car from the garage, call from the office, walk in the park, column on the page, mark on the wall, vehicle in the photograph, teller from the bank, shot in the dark, money from the market, attorney on the case, files on the desk, passenger in the car, secretary from the agency, money from the government, patient in the hospital, memo from the boss, truck on the freeway, fish from the sea, food in the restaurant, sign on the post, notes on the trial, fly in the ointment, note from the teacher, report from the committee, funds in the account, paint on the house, notice from the defense, clause in the contract, seat on the airplane. Okay. Let's do some adverb doublets. Here we go. Exhaustively worked, consistently frustrated, repeatedly analyzed, conclusively identified, partially aligned, adequately demonstrated, increasingly impressed, originally named, understandably surprised, conveniently packaged, dramatically increased, primarily stationed, poorly treated, highly specialized, frequently consulted, arbitrarily stated, strongly connected, literally destroyed, incredibly disfigured, vigorously opposed, miraculously revived, recently submitted, easily disturbed, simultaneously indicted, literally interpreted, mutually permeated, intrinsically designed, quickly enumerated, simply enhanced, unanimously selected, methodically completed, easily eluded, simply enhanced, handsomely decorated, incorrectly installed, recently expanded, commonly misdiagnosed, initially inclined, accidentally spilled, deliberately omitted, automatically advanced, effectively absorbed, specifically refined, momentarily appeared, solemnly performed, perfectly executed, deliberately omitted. Right. Now we've started some of these carbonated drinks, brands, and manufacturers. So we've got one column left. Here we go. Nesquik, Nescafe, Nectar, Nestle Ski Stop Gap 24/7, New Coke, Orangeette, Orangentina, Ovaltine, Panda Cola, Panda Pops, Peanuts, Pepsi, Pepsi Cola, Pepsi Jazz, black cherry and vanilla, Pepsi Jazz strawberries and cream, Pepsi Lime, Pepsi Max, Perena Premier, Pet, PG Tips, Pib Extra, Pineapple, Planet Cola, Pocari Sweat, Popsies, Pop Cola, Palma Great, Quarto, R. Whites, Raspberry, Red Bull, Red Tornado, Robinson's for Milk, Rockstar, Root Beer, Royal Crown Cherry, Royal Crown Cola, Sam's Choice, Shasta, Sierra Mist, and San Pellegrino. All right. And again, this is a continuation of top words that are searched on the internet. So this is another continuation. Here we go. Newspapers, news groups, Northwest Airlines, online dictionary, online games, OS 400, paintball, parent, passwords, people finder, people search, personal finance, photography, photos, pic post, pics, PersianKitty.com, pictures, PlayStation cheats, poems, poetry, Pogo.com, Pokemon, porno, portal mix, posters, prom dresses, prom hairstyles, PubMed, QuickTime, quotations, quotes, radio, radio stations, real estate listings, Real Player, recipes, resume, resumes, reverse lookup, Richard's Realm, ringtones, roadmaps, ROMs, rotten.com, RPG, scholarships, science fair projects, screen savers, search engines, Sears, serial numbers, Shakespeare, shareware, sheet music, shoes, Simpsons, skateboarding, smoking, snakes, soccer, software cracks, song lyrics, Southwest Airlines, Spain, spanking, sports, stories, Sublime Directory, suicide, survivor, tattoo, tattoo designs, tattoos, tax forms, taxes, the Hun's Yellow Pages, The Sims, thehun.com, thong, thumbnails, Thumbzilla, Ticketmaster, time, time zones, tires, Tommy's bookmarks, Toyota, translator, travel, travel maps, Travelocity, United Airlines, used autos, used boats. You know what? We're almost done, so let's just finish it off. Used cars, Verizon, Viagra, Vietnam War, wallpaper, wallpapers, Walmart, whereas, wave files, weather, weather forecast, webcams, web hosting, webcam, white pages, white shadow, wild cherries, why nap, when zip, women, women health, work at home, world map, World War II, WWF, www.ampland.com, www.aol.com, www.ebay.com, www.google.com, www.hotmail.com, www.msn.com, www.thehun.com, www.thehun.net, www.yahoo.com, Yahoo, Yahoo email, Yahoo mail, yahoo.com, and yoga. So yoga is the last one. All right. Now, these are some sentences with initial consonants PL. Okay, here we go. She used plastic plates and platters. A platinum blonde is pleasing. They pleaded to play in the plaza. It was not only plenty, it was a plethora. The platform was not plated. Platitudes are not pleasant. He based his plea on the pleat. Pleurisy affects the pleura. A plateau was planned. Ours was a platonic affair. A play by the plenary council was planned. A plotter's plight is plumpness. Blood platelets are a plus. We looked at a plateful of plastic. Their platoon played with a platypus. The plaudits were not plausible. Plebes don't wear plaid pleats. Your pledge will plenish us. The plumber plunged the plunger. You may act as my playing planner. All right. I've got one more for you. This is going to also focus on the PL. Okay, here we go. She placated him with a pleasant placebo. The placer was placid, placing the plants. Pluto is a planet. Don't put planter's punch in a planter. Placards were plastered in each plot. Why does a player plagiarize the plans? Use a plane to smooth the plank. Place the plaque in the plaster. You can place the plain plan here. Plagues are not plotted or planned. The plastic plant used a plumber. Planishing hammers level metal plates. Place the plaque in the plaster. The plasma pleased the plower. Some call a plot a plat. The platters were plotters. A planter wart requires plastic surgery. The plaintiff wore a plain plaid. Our plantation pleased the planners. We had plenty to take to the placement test. Don't get out of place on the plane. All right. These are going to be numbers with decimal points. Here we go. 42.90029, 20.09624, 40.90224, 44.2, 4949, 99.4, 2204, 29.6, 0202, 27.4, 0246, 36.2, 7476, 74.0, 6460, 42.5, 3327, 23.5, 7624, 43.7, 3284, 44.9, 4747, 77.4, 9934, 97.6, 3940, 0.4, 3946, 36.9, 7476, 74.3, 6463. All right. And this is going to be our last drill, and it's silent letters, like the WH words, WR words. Okay, here we go. I'm going to give you the phrases first and then the sentences. Whole trial, this hour, our writ, his wrath, rest, honest, my wrath, his writ, that hour, whole thing, whole deal, some hour, her writ, her wrath, honorable. Who dug the hole? Eat the whole thing. I did the whole job. This is the wrong hour. File a writ. It was an honest mistake. Who filed the writ? Hang the new wreath. Use an herb dressing. It was honorable. Whose wreck is it? It was an honest deal. It is a matter of honor. Wrest it from his control. He'd incur the judge's wrath. It will be an hour. That is our policy. Give them an hour. Honesty is the best policy. Check on the patient hourly. It is our finest hour. File the writ today. Color it with writ. Where is your writ? Drink the herb tea. Whose writ is this? He is an honest man. Whose herbs are these? Use wrapping paper. He is so honorable. Just forget the whole thing. whose wrath is the worst. The whole idea was mine. Wrap the packages. He wrapped the gavel. Who wrapped it up? Who wrested his power away? Who owns the wrecking yard? Tell whomever you wish. Were you honest? The car is a wreck. The answer is honest. Wrap it all up well. Wrest it from him. Is an hour too long? All right. Let's start off with some literary, and then we'll move into jury charge. Just date this. All right. This is Congressional Record. All right, here we go. And I'm going to start at 80, but I'll work my way. I'm going to work my way to 225 pretty quickly because it's not too long, okay? Yeah. All right, here we go. Mr. President, as the decade has drawn to a close, what we have been seeing or taking place in Eastern Europe is nothing short of a miracle. The free world has stood by in utter amazement while one man, Mr. Gorbachev, has been at the helm of a transformation that has taken people everywhere by surprise. We have seen the Cold War peacefully deconstruct. We have seen the Berlin Wall come tumbling down. We have seen the Iron Curtain crumble. Gorbachev was president of the Soviets and a powerful leader. In some accounts, he is regarded as a hero for challenging the ideology that has been around since the time of Stalin. By others, he is regarded as dangerous because he is questioning the philosophy of communism. With remarkable imagination, Boris Yeltsin has embarked on an irreversible and daring course. He is attempting to transform an inherently destructive governmental system. He is trying to break down the old regime and make way for a new Soviet Union, even a new Europe. We as Americans must question his goals. He is working toward a free Europe and a free international market. The radical changes he has instigated during the last 2 years included the right to free expression and free speech. He is attempting to restructure his own country, to do away with the suppression, to do away with the threats, to do away with the stagnation, and to do away with the forced labor. The effects of this revolutionary thinking have been felt in Hungary, Germany, Poland, and China. He has inaugurated these changes in his own country without bloodshed. Mr. President, Yeltsin is to be heralded as a breath of fresh air. I highly recommend that we wholeheartedly endorse and support him. All right, let's do some legal opinion. Here we go. Now this one I'm going to start right at 200 and work my way to 225. Okay, here we go. Let's speak objectively regarding the matter at hand. There are certain matters which may be considered by the witness in forming an opinion as to the fair market value of the Florence property. When evidence of such matters has been received, it may be considered only for the very limited and special purpose of enabling one to understand and weigh the testimony of the witnesses as to their opinion of the fair market value of the Florence property. Among pertinent matters should be considered are the following. First, the area and the location of the Florence property, the uses for which it may be adapted, its proximity to nearby shopping malls and commercial facilities, the accessibility and the availability of public transportation, and the zoning of the Florence property. Second, the nature and physical improvements on the property and the general character of the neighborhood in the vicinity of the Florence property, the character of the issues and the uses, current uses that are being made of such other properties, and the trends for the land use and development in the immediate neighborhood. Third, the price and the important monetary considerations of any sale or contract to sale and purchase of the Florence property or any of the other properties which are considered to be comparable in value to the defendant's property. Generally, the more similar one property is to another, the closer the value of the one that may be expected to approach the value of the other. Fourth, a witness may also be considered the rent, fees, and charges or any other terms and circumstances of any lease of the subject property or of a property of comparable value. Fifth, a witness may consider the capitalization rate of the reasonable net rental value attributable to the land and any existing improvements. Sixth, a witness may also consider the replacement value as indicated by the value of the land together with the cost of replacing or reproducing the existing improvements thereon, less any depreciation of the improvements that have been suffered. Seventh, a witness may also consider the reasonable probability, if any, of a change in zoning restrictions in the near future and the effect of such a change would have upon the value of the property. As you have been previously informed, evidence should be considered only for the purpose of enabling one to understand and weigh the testimony of the witnesses as to their opinions of the market value. All right, let's do some jury instructions. All right, here we go. I'm going to start at 200, work my way to 225, okay? The jury has returned. Welcome back. In response to the question from the foreman in considering the definition of assault with intent to commit murder, we will clarify wrongful act and attempt was unlawful. I am going to read to you the legislative definition of assault from the Penal Code. The Bar Review Committee has included some of the other words that probably created some of this confusion. Assault is an unlawful attempt coupled with the present ability to commit a violent injury upon the person of another. You can see in the printed instructions that were submitted to the jury and are made available to the jury during their deliberations that we have added to commit a wrongful act by means of physical force instead of to commit a violent injury. When you have an assault, what it really means is that you intend to strike, hit, shoot, or knife another person. In other words, you intend to commit a battery. I am not getting too historical or academic in my text comment, hopefully, but one of the cases that most law students read, at least, I read it back in the late 90s when I was attending law school, is a case from England. This is a case I guess every law student has read, which I didn't ask counsel if they covered it or not, but I am sure that they have. It says, if it wasn't a size time, I would run you through, where a man has a sword against the stomach of another. In that particular season, he is not going to commit a violent injury upon another person. So the question is whether this is an attempt or not. Well, it was not an attempt because he didn't intend to commit a battery. Now, the law is that you have to have an unlawful attempt. This means an attempt that is unjustified under the law. And of course, an unlawful attempt should be a wrongful act by means of physical force. So in speaking hypothetically, if you have an unjustified striking of another person, say not in actual defense of yourself or in actual defense of another person, then it would be considered unlawful. It is unjustified, but you have such conduct where it is not considered unlawful under the laws of the state. These are the determinations for the trier of facts to make under the evidence that is presented here in this case. All right. Go ahead and start some Q&A. And we started this on Wednesday, and it's about the gas line leak. Okay, looks like, yeah, defense is questioning. I'm going to start at 180 and I'll work my way to 225. Here we go. And how are those arc burns made there? Do you know on those 3 occasions? I don't quite understand what you are asking. Well, okay, on the 3 times that you saw these similar arc burns, do you know how those arc burns got on the pipes? Well, I want to object on the grounds that he hasn't been qualified as an expert on electricity or how those arc burns might have been caused. There is no foundation as to. I just asked him if he knows with his experience of 21 years. He should be able to tell me how he thought they got there. Not necessarily, counsel. So if you can answer the question, if you don't know, just say you don't know, okay? Do you know or not know? I don't know that I could answer in the past on those other occasions how it occurred. Okay, how about this occasion, the 5260 La Sierra Avenue? Well, on this occasion, I could because of being able to see the arc burns on the gas pipes through the construction phases. I was able to tell what an arc burn looked like on the pipe. And when you say arc burn, what do you mean? Like I said, I don't know the full process of electricity, but I've seen where our gas welders on arc or the arc welders have accidentally burned through a gas line in the welding process. The marks that leave these marks are very similar. Okay, that makes sense. Now, after you took the pictures, what did you do? Excuse me? After you took the pictures, what did you do? I handed the pictures over to the crew leader and I left the job site. My job was over at that point. Okay, did you have any other contacts at 5260 La Sierra Avenue at any time after that? Any other contacts? Did you ever go to the site again? Yes, I did. Okay, do you know when that was after the first visit? It would have to be several months after. Okay, and what summoned you to the site? Well, our crew was checking the service location. We sometimes have lines that settle and distress is put on the lines, and they went out there to reevaluate the work that had been done prior. What was your job on the occasion? My job? Yes, just to check the crew as part of my inspection. What did you inspect? I inspected the work that they are doing, the quality of the work, the installations. So you basically supervised the hookup. Right. The new hookup? Yes. Was a new meter going on in that location? No. Okay, what kind of work was there to be done since the first visit? Since the first visit? I'm not sure if I understand the question. Okay, well, when you were there, months after the first visit, you were there to inspect, correct? Right, the crew, they were excavating the hole to make sure that the work they had done, there was no settling of the pipes, the new pipes that had been installed since the accident. Okay, well, what I'm trying to get at, there was something newly installed, is that correct? Months before our service line, yes. Okay, do you know what kind of pipe was used on the new installation? A plastic pipe. And do you know what the diameter was? It's what we would refer to as half-inch CTS. The CTS is the copper tubing size. Okay, what did you do after that? Well, let me retract that. When you inspected that, did you see anything wrong with the new hookup? No, I did not. Okay, so what did you do? I left the job site. Everything was going well. It was fine. I told the crew to backfill the hole and left. Okay, what did you do after that? Did you have any other contact with the property? No. Were you summoned there on any other occasion? No, sir. The 2 times that you were there, did you see any illegal hookups? Illegal hookups? Yes. I'm going to object on the grounds that it is vague and ambiguous. If you know what that means, you can answer the question. I would not know what type of illegal hookup you are talking about. Okay, well, I will give you an example. There has been talk that there was, when the gas company first went out there to shut the gas off, that there was gas blowing out of the pipe from the house. And there was also some documentation that there was, it says, illegal connection or words to that effect. I'm just trying to get at whether or not you saw any extra pipes coming out of the house, possibly diverted around the meter. No, I did not. No, you did not? No. Okay, I'm just going to show you Exhibit B. Have you ever seen these kind of computer forms before? Computer generated? Yes. Are you familiar with them in your job as? Not in my field of work. This is a customer service order or a form. When usually one ends up on my desk, I refer to this back over to the customer service supervisor. And who would that be? At this moment, it is Larry Heath. Okay, when I say supervisor, I mean whoever was in that position at that time. Okay, who would be the most knowledgeable to be able to talk about these kinds of computer forms? A customer service supervisor. Do you know who that was in 2014 or 2015? To the best of my knowledge, it was Rich Heminger. Could you spell the last name for us? Yes, it's Rich, R-I-C-H, Heminger, H-E-M-M-I-N-G-E-R. Thank you. I will take that one back. So if I showed you Exhibit G, which is another computer generated form again, related form, do you see a notation on there? It says illegal connect. Yes, I do. Okay, can you see that? Yes. Okay, do you know why that would have been put on this form, or would you know? Do you have knowledge of that? Well, where I see it here, it says meter removed, other FNP. That means for non-pay, illegal connectors. Now that may be something inside the house or an appliance or outside. It doesn't make it clear here what it is. Okay, so the best person to talk to would be Rich Heminger on that, one of the customer service personnel. Okay, I'll take that back. Thank you. Okay, you're up, counsel. Thank you. Just a couple of quick questions and we will let you out of here. Okay, now what a way to start your Monday, right? Yes. That meter removed other. Yes. Does that mean something that was done other than the meter being removed, or the meter that was removed for another reason, if you know? I really don't know. You can't really tell by the document whether or not a meter was removed on that day? No, I can't. No, I'm not familiar with that type of order. Okay, perfectly understandable. You indicated what you thought to be arc burns on the pipes and that there were two types of pipes on the trench. Yes. Were there arc burns on both pipes? I don't remember. I can't recall. My concern was our gas facility. But there was an arc burn in your line? Yes, there was. Do you know how big? By a burn, was there a hole in the pipe also? Yes, there was. That appeared to be arc burns also. A arc burn hole? Right. Now, was that, one hole only? One hole. How big in diameter, if you can estimate? I know this was some time ago. My best estimate would be, a smaller than a 1/4 inch. Okay, that would be about the size of a dime or smaller than a dime. Okay, smaller than a dime, the size of a dime. Yes. Okay, did anyone ever indicate to you what the source of the fire was? Not to me, no. Did you ever have any further discussions with anyone about the subject matter of the pictures or the possible source of the fire? No, not to my recollection, no. Do you know where those pictures were taken, would be kept today? Is there normally a file maintained on a computer, or for instance, such as this? The pictures, the normal process is that once the pictures are taken, the property damage report is completed, which will be reviewed by the local management and sent to our claims office. I'm sorry, I think you already answered this, but you don't recall whether or not there were arc burns in the other pipes, or there weren't? I do not recall whether there were or not. That's okay, perfectly understandable. Okay, and you may not be in a position to answer this, but I understand. I'm just asking for your layman's definition. I understand less than anyone in the room about arc burns. I know nothing about electricity either. That's when electricity is flowing through one thing and jumps to something metal in the area. Yes, an arc excavated, refer to an arc burn when two pipes are in close proximity to one another, and an electric, some type of electric form from one pipe makes contact with another pipe, point of entry, exit, whatever. Okay, did you see anything in the neighborhood near that burn hole that you saw where an arc might have resulted from? Do you have any idea where the arc came from? No, I don't. Did you see any other indications on the house or anywhere in the general area of the other electrical burns? Yes. What kind of other burns did you see? Well, there was now when I say a mark, it was more or less I couldn't tell if it wasn't a fire mark or a smoke mark or something, but it was marks like an electrical meter. It appeared to be electrical burns. Yes, right. I understand you are not an expert in the area. Great. That's all I have. Thank you very much. Just a few more. You said the pictures probably went to the claims office. Yes. Where is the claims office? Our claims office at that time was in downtown LA, what we refer to as the General Gas Company Tower. Do you know the address? Yes. Off the top of your head? Yes, it's 550 West 5th Street, Los Angeles. Thank you. When you went to the site the second time around, who was on the crew? Tom Labata was the crew leader. And who was the other person, if there was one? His crew assistant was Dan Campobasso. Okay, I know that. Can you spell his name? It is Campobasso. His first name is Dan? Yes, Dan. Was he there the first time? I don't recall if he was or not. Okay, did you go to any other houses in 2014 in December after you went to this one for any electrical problem, or for any gas service request? No, I don't know if I understand the question. Were you called out to do any other inspections similar to this one because of an electrical surge? No. Okay, do you know where the electrical meter was? You said you saw marks. The electrical meter was attached to what I think was an adjacent garage. It was a detached garage. These are older houses. Do you remember if the bulb on the electrical meter was broken? No, I don't recall. Okay, I have no more questions. Let's go off the record for just a minute. I have no questions. Back on the record. Oh, come on, no questions? Yeah, I'm going to beat up on my own client. I think that's it, unless you have something else. Nope, I have no more questions. I think we are done. Will counsel stipulate to the court reporter being relieved of the responsibilities under the code that we will, first of all, how much time do you think you will need to take a look at the deposition transcript once you get it to make any corrections? Well, what is the turnaround time? Let's start with that. Usually 2 weeks. Let's go off the record. We've agreed that the court reporter will do the transcript, and the Southern California Gas Company will have 30 days to look it over and return it for any corrections. You will be the holder. I will be the holder of the original, if that's all right. Sure, I can be the custodian. I don't know if that's all right with you. Sure, that's fine. All right, if you fail to get it to us back in 30 days, it will be deemed correct without any changes. Okay, well, who do I have to notify the changes? I mean, I'm going to be sending it back to you. Who do I make it to? Make it to me. Okay, the noticing attorney, and then you're going to notify the plaintiff's counsel of the changes and whatnot. That's not, go ahead. Well, no, it's not. We'll take that. Anything else on that? Just if for some reason the original signed is not signed or is unavailable at the time of trial, a certified copy can be used for all purposes. So stipulated, so stipulated. Counsel, would you like a copy? I don't need a copy. Just give me a copy and I will hand it to Mr. Hansen. So I use the court reporter as the court. That was actually the reporter. All right, let's switch transcripts. That was a small, that was a small one. Not very long. All right. How are we doing on time? Good. All right, this is going to also be defense. And you're going to hear they refer to Timbuktu, like, you know, out in the middle of nowhere. It's kind of funny. Let's say it's Timbuktu Police Department. So it's Timbuktu. If you ever hear of that, like, it, you know, meaning it's out in the middle of nowhere, and they capitalize Timbuktu Police Department. I just thought that was interesting. Comes up a couple times. So, all right, here we go. I was marking this transcript and I was like, oh, wow, Timbuktu. Ready? And if you got pictures, let's say you got a picture of the witness. Oh, and real quick, I'm just going to start right at 225, okay? You would want to show that picture around the neighborhood to various people to try to determine if they know the individual. Is that correct? You have a photograph of the witness. Let's say you have a booking photo of a person who confessed to the crime, and you know now you are trying to substantiate that confession. And would you take that booking photo and show it to various people throughout the neighborhood he claims to have been in and try and corroborate whatever statements he has given to you? You would take out several photographs and put it into a photographic lineup. So when you show the person the photograph, they would either know the person or not know the person. You wouldn't be contemplating it by possibly showing somebody a photograph, and it is later on they go to see a lineup and they are able to identify that person based on a photograph that you already showed them. In order to stop the contamination, you would show them several, include the photograph of the witness or suspect or whatever. Okay, if you have a witness who confesses to a crime, strike that. Let's assume you have a person who has been arrested on a narcotics charge, okay, and when he was arrested on the narcotics charge, there is going to be an investigation of that arrest. Is that correct? Yes, and there will be evidence collected concerning that arrest and that crime and the narcotics crime. Is that correct? That is correct. And all of the material, let's say, that was collected in the investigation, let's say it's done by Timbuktu Police Department. They're going to say that material. Is that correct? Yes. Now let's say you, Richard Lonsford from the San Bernardino, come along. You learn that this individual that you're looking for is in custody in Timbuktu and that he is faced with some charges. Okay. Would you go back to Timbuktu and talk to him? Yes. Are you going to, in order to talk to him, are you going to take any steps with reference to the agency in Timbuktu? Yes. What steps would you take? Well, first of all, I would contact the agency back there, maybe tell him who I am, what type of case I'm looking into. Let's stop right there. So if this is a narcotics charge that this person is in custody on, and you're investigating, say, a homicide, you're going to advise the agency in Timbuktu you're investigating a homicide. Is that correct? That's right. And then what would you do? Well, after, if I had planned on going out there, I would find out what kind of reports that they might have. Could they fax them or mail me a copy of the reports, or email me, find out what items that they might have taken in that connection. Let's say there was a breach warrant or a search warrant, and you're looking for a gun, maybe bullets that were taken, a gun was found, or maybe you're looking for a knife. Was there a knife or clothing? If the person is back there, say they were out there or out here and moved back, maybe they have a suitcase full of clothing. You look for anything that might have been taken as a result of that arrest that might help you in your investigation here. And if the reports are too great or there are too many officers, you certainly would want to talk to the officer who did the investigation, the officer that maybe made the initial arrest. You look at the items, all of the items that were seized, if there were any. You look at the clothing items, something like that, to see if any of that might connect with something that you are actually looking for. Okay, so let's assume that the arrest in Timbuktu occurs within what you determine in your mind to be in the date of the homicide. Let's say the arrest occurs within 10 days. Are you going to be particularly interested in the clothing? Sure, especially if he's traveling around or where he is living at. They may also be able to, may have enough information to obtain a search warrant in another jurisdiction, which may be recovered clothing that might be involved out there. So, I mean, the possibilities depend on the arrest. It is endless. What was taken, where the person is staying at, who they were staying with, were they driving a vehicle, what type of weapons the person may have, any number of things. Okay, would you be interested in, say, any telephone records? Strike that. Let's just say that the individual was arrested in a hotel or a motel where he'd been living for a while, and you're trying to determine involvement in the homicide. Would you be interested in the phone records and that sort of thing? Sure, those would be easy to get. Who or why not have them? Okay, why would you want them? Well, then you can see who the person has been calling. You never know. Maybe say you're in Timbuktu, that person may have phone calls out. That telephone number through the phone company, his cell phone company will tell us the location. The location will give us the name of the person who has the phone. There's another possible witness. Why were you calling this person? Why were you talking to this person? It might corroborate information that you may get. Maybe somebody knows or says they talked to him back there and he told me this about the crime. You might be able to corroborate through the phone records to support a witness that you're later going to put on, so you can get anything that you want to get. Better to have too much information than not enough. Take everything you can get and make an effort to get everything. Yes, of course, whatever you can get, you try to get. Thank you. I have nothing further. Thank you, Mr. Bristol. Go ahead, counsel. Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Mr. Lonsford, has it been your experience, either you or other agencies conducting investigations, that have an unlimited amount of time to get whatever you can get? Well, no, we are restricted. It depends. Generally, we are restricted by one, time, two, the law. In other words, I can't run in and run a CII or FBI check on somebody. I have to do it through their records or ordering the law enforcement agency to give me the information. It has to be okayed or approved. We are restricted by, number one, manpower, court dates, amount of money that we have to spend. Sometimes we are on very limited budgets. So you try to do what you can with what you can. And sometimes if you're close and you can't quite finish it, you can do it on your own anyway if you really want to get to it. Is that also true of law enforcement agencies? Yes, of course. Okay, so when you say ideally you would want to find a vehicle in the scenario that Mr. Bristol gave, what would you do if you couldn't locate the vehicle? Sometimes you just can't. All that you can do is make every effort in an attempt to find them in the amount of time that you have. Sometimes the vehicles get cut up and they're buried, or they're shipped overseas, or some are even set on fire. Somebody can't find it. Sometimes you just don't have enough information in order to find the vehicle, even though it may have driven past you 3 times that day. Depends on what you have. Have you made any efforts? In my case, whenever I am doing something like this, I always log down when I did an attempt. If somebody says, what did you do? You can say, I've done this, 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 and this in this case. I have a case now that I'm involved with the Los Angeles Police Department from 25 years ago. Well, the detective that originally handled that case is dead. The coroner is dead, but there was enough information through the notes and stuff passed down. We have DNA now, so that the new police officer, when he got it, was able to pick it up and say, okay, I know this has been done, and now we have the new technologies since that date. He's been able to carry on that investigation and was able, after 25 years, to conclude it. Okay, that makes sense. That's assuming that there was sufficient information in the first instance to do some follow-up. Sure. Would you say that sometimes there are leads that are just so minimal, or that there is such a lack of information that it is not realistic to try to even follow up? If somebody gives a name, Ted, where does Ted live? Somewhere in California. If you find Ted, it's a pretty good deal. Thank you very much. No further questions. Mr. Bristol, very briefly, Your Honor, suppose they tell you, yes, it was Ted and he lives on 22nd Street in Los Angeles. That narrows it down? That narrows it down quite a lot, yes. Then you would expect to go down to 22nd Street and you might look for Ted, who knows your witness. Is that correct? Well, yes, yes. And you would probably run into one or two of these people that say they know Ted, and you eliminate them, or somebody is going to know somebody named Ted that will give you more leads. Okay, today with all of the modern technology and these serious computer programs you've talked about, does it take hours and hours and hours entering the name or moniker into the computer and come up with whatever information may be there? No, nowadays with computers, it's no. You type it in, you need to put you put a send on it, and you just go about your business. When you come back, it's already printed out, laying there for you. The case that you mentioned was 25 years ago? Yes. And you said with modern technology, they picked it up, they brought it to the conclusion. The case it's concluded. That is correct. That was a 25-year-old case. That's correct. Thank you. Nothing further. Thank you, Mr. Bristol. Mr. Abackerley, nothing further, Your Honor. All right, Mr. Lonsford, thank you very much. You are free to leave, subject to possible recall. I do. I'm so sorry, Your Honor. All right, go ahead. I apologize, counsel. Mr. Lonsford, if you're an investigator in a criminal investigation. Let's say you, as the investigator, you contact the Department of Motor Vehicles to try to locate a name. Are you going to make that a part of your record-keeping material and your reports of the investigation? Yes, if I find that in the investigation you need to keep a record of all the things that you do. That way, if it's taken over by somebody else, they know exactly what you've done, and you've already done it, and there's a record of it. If time goes by and you can't remember if you've done something, you can always go back and look at your notes and say to yourself, what day did I do this on? If you talk to a particular person, you know what person that you talk to. So your records give you a list of your cases of what you've done and tells you what might need to be done still or to do, or whether you should go back and redo it again. So if you do a DMV name check, is there a printout that comes out when you do a name check? Yes, it comes out no hit. In other words, you've got a name and you did not get a hit. It comes back no hit. So you actually have a piece of paper then? Yes, I do. All right, so we'll do some read back. All right. Okay, this is going to be defense. And I'll read the first one at 2:25. Okay, here we go. You have talked about people being in the street around the bank and north of the bank and around the bonfire. Were there any people wandering around south of the bank? As far as I know, there were just people walking around the bank all night long. You have testified that you didn't know any of the people who were throwing rocks. That's true. Aside from that, roughly how many people did you encounter that evening that you knew? Oh, approximately 15, I think. I am not sure. And you talked to them? Yes, I did. And they were sort of wandering around as you were? Yes, they were. Among the 15 or so that you say you knew, did any of them throw any rocks? I didn't see them throwing any rocks. Was there much foot traffic to the south of the bank? Were there people milling around on the street at various periods? Yes. Sometimes the street was clear, would you say? Sometimes, yes. You were standing across from the bank, is that correct? That's correct. At one time, there was a considerable group of people between you and the bank? Yes. At that time, did you hear any breaking glass? I heard breaking glass for quite a long period of time. Was the crowd tightly packed or dispersed? At times it was tight and at times it was loose. Well, could you have seen through the crowd in order to see who was pitching the rocks at the time you heard glass breaking? If they were in the street, yes. If they had been not in the street but were on the curb, could you have seen them? I think so. All right, so we'll do it again at 200. Here we go. You have talked about people being in the street around the bank and north of the bank and around the bonfire. Were there any people wandering around south of the bank? As far as I know, there were just people walking around the bank all night long. You have testified that you didn't know any of the people who were throwing rocks. That's true. Aside from that, roughly how many people did you encounter that evening that you knew? Oh, approximately 15, I think. I am not sure. And you talked to them? Yes, I did. And they were sort of wandering around as you were? Yes, they were. Among the 15 or so that you say you knew, did any of them throw any rocks? I didn't see them throwing any rocks. Was there much foot traffic to the south of the bank? Were there people milling around on the street at various periods? Yes. Sometimes the street was clear, would you say? Sometimes, yes. You were standing across from the bank, is that correct? That's correct. At one time, there was a considerable group of people between you and the bank? Yes. At that time, did you hear any breaking glass? I heard breaking glass for quite a long period of time. Was the crowd tightly packed or dispersed? At times it was tight and at times it was loose. Well, could you have seen through the crowd in order to see who was pitching the rocks at the time you heard glass breaking? If they were in the street, yes. If they had been not in the street but were on the curb, could you have seen them? I think so. All right. Let's do it one last time at 180. You have talked about people being in the street around the bank and north of the bank and around the bonfire. Were there any people wandering around south of the bank? As far as I know, there were just people walking around the bank all night long. You have testified that you didn't know any of the people who were throwing rocks. That's true. Aside from that, roughly how many people did you encounter that evening that you knew? Oh, approximately 15, I think. I am not sure. And you talked to them? Yes, I did. And they were sort of wandering around as you were? Yes, they were. Among the 15 or so that you say you knew, did any of them throw any rocks? I didn't see them throwing any rocks. Was there much foot traffic to the south of the bank? Were there people milling around on the street at various periods? Yes. Sometimes the street was clear, would you say? Sometimes, yes. Were you standing across from the bank? Is that correct? That's correct. At one time, there was a considerable group of people between you and the bank? Yes. At that time, did you hear any breaking glass? I heard breaking glass for quite a long period of time. Was the crowd tightly packed or dispersed? At times it was tight and at times it was loose. Well, could you have seen through the crowd in order to see who was pitching the rocks at the time you heard glass breaking? If they were in the street, yes. If they had been not in the street but were on the curb, could you have seen them? I think so. For some reason, at that last question, it's hard because it says if they had been not in the street. I keep wanting to say, had they not been in the street? I don't know. It just sounds weird. All right. How was that?
I think I dropped the same question on all three takes. I have to see which one it was because that is weird.
It just, I don't know, the wording, even when I was reading it, just sounded weird. I don't know. Sometimes if the word, it's not even that the words are hard, but if it's just put a certain way, then it makes it harder. I'm sure when it's hard for me to read, it's hard for you to write it.
Yeah.
The flow just seemed off or something. So, okay, let me just date this so I know there's another side to it too, but all right. All right, so do you want to take the first question or do you want me to?
It doesn't matter. I can take the first one.
Okay.
Maybe. Okay.
Jump in.
Okay. Question. You have talked about people being in the street around the bank and north of the bank and around the bonfire. Were there any people wandering around south of the bank? Answer. As far as I know, there were just people walking around the bank all night long.
Awesome. Question. You have testified that you didn't know any of the people who were throwing rocks. Answer. That's true.
Question. Aside from that, roughly how many people did you encounter that evening that you know?
Do you have new?
Oh, no.
No, that's okay.
That you knew. Okay. Answer. Oh, approximately 15, I think. I'm not sure.
Question. And you talked to them? Answer. Yes, I did.
Question. And they were sort of wandering around as you were? Answer. Yes, they were.
Question. Among the 15 or so that you say you knew, did any of them throw any rocks? Answer. I didn't see them throwing any rocks.
Question. Was there much foot traffic to the south of the bank? Answer.
Wait,
No.
do you have word
Sorry.
there?
Word. Yes. That should be a period, not an answer.
That's okay.
Or it should be a question mark, really. Okay. South of the bank, were there people milling around on the street?
Yeah.
Answer. At various periods, yes.
Awesome. Question. Sometimes the street was clear. Would you say? Answer. Sometimes, yes.
Question. You were standing across from the bank. Is that correct? Answer. That's correct.
Question. At one time, there was a considerable group of people between you and the bank. Answer. Yes.
Question. At that time, did you hear any breaking glass? Answer. I heard breaking glass something period of time.
That's okay. For quite a long.
Okay.
That's okay. And then period of time. Let's see. Question. Was the crowd tightly packed or dispersed? Answer. At times it was tight and at times it was loose.
Question. Well, could you have seen, this is the question I dropped every time. I don't know why. That's all I have.
That's okay. So it's, well, could you have seen through the crowd in order to see who was pitching the rocks at the time you heard glass breaking?
Oh my gosh.
That's okay.
I dropped that whole thing. That's crazy.
That's okay.
Oh no, I just lost my spot. Answer, if they were in the street, yes.
Awesome. Question. If they had been not in the street, that's so weird, but were on the curb, could you have seen them? Answer, I think so.
I wonder why I dropped that whole thing every time. I don't know what got me in my mind. It's weird.
Yeah, that is. That's, huh. But again, when I was reading it, it even I don't know, it just seemed different. The wording or something. Maybe just go back again and practice it again until you get that, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
So, all right. Well, great job.
Getting there.
Yes. Yep, you are. You are.
I took my test and I didn't pass again.
You did. Well, that's okay. That's okay. Did you feel any better this time?
Yes.
Good, good.
So, I mean, my hands got the time before they got so shaky. So I was just reading on like what to do. And a lot of people said to check like your breathing. And I realized that when I get tense, I hold my breath kind of.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I think so I wasn't getting, like my brain wasn't getting enough oxygen. So then it like comes out and I start shaking. So I really focused on my breath this time and it helped. I didn't get like out of control shaky this time. I mean, I still had nerves a little bit, which, you know, I didn't have a lot of drops. I just had, because my fingers are kind of just from the nerves were kind of, how do you describe, like jello a little bit, you know? So I had a lot of like, it was hard to read my notes. They were pretty messy. So like I used every last second to transcribe. Like I
Was
didn't
it
even,
closer? Like, was your score closer this time?
yeah, I mean, I got 92.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're so close.
And I need a 95. So I'm like right there, you know?
Yeah. That's okay. So see, you did better. You weren't as shaky. You got a better score. So there you go. It's improvement.
Yeah. Yeah. The time before that, I got an 89. So if I improve by the same amount, I'll pass the next one.
Yes. And you always have to think too, it's different material, you know? So you have to think about that too.
Yeah. The one before that, when I had the nerves so bad, I swear I was so mad because that was the easiest test. The fact that I failed it was like heartbreaking because I mean the material, the hardest word had to have been like criminal or something like that. Like it was like so easy.
You're like, give me that test again. And
I knew it as I was taking it, but I lost control of my fingers. I was shaking so badly. And
sometimes
so
when they're that good, it does. It kind of like rattles us like,
it did freak me out. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so easy. And then of course I got an 89, which to me, you know, obviously that's like basically bombing it, you know?
No.
I don't know.
How long do you have to wait before you can take it again?
You can take them, you're allowed 3 attempts per quarter, per leg. So the testimony leg, I can take 3 times a quarter. So that's the only thing, but you just have to schedule it 3 days in advance. So you can take them whenever you want, but you only get 3 per quarter. So I have 2 more before the end of June.
Okay.
So I kind of want to be like,
you're good.
strategic. I want to be strategic about it though. I was like, okay, well, I don't want to hurry up and take it again, like right away, because I want to make sure I pass it. I want to pass it this quarter. Like I really do.
Maybe just wait like
So
a week.
yeah, I don't want to wait too long.
No, you don't want to wait too long.
And it's on sale right now. So,
Oh, there you go.
because they're like, it's a certification month or something like that. So the student member price is only like $60.
Oh yeah,
So it's not too bad.
take advantage of that. Well, I mean, if you feel
Yeah.
like you're having a good day, I would just take it. Don't even wait a week because you figure then you still have one more after that.
I mean, yeah, the
And we're
thing
in
is
May.
you have to schedule it 72 hours prior. That
Oh,
I
that's,
wish I wish I could wake up and be like, "Oh, this is the day," and then schedule it for that day, but you can't.
yeah.
So, I might try doing a different time of day next time just to see if that helps too. I don't know.
Or see if you're
Whatever.
better in the beginning of the week or the end of the week.
Yeah, I think like I don't know. I can't predict it. I have good days on all
I
at
know.
all different times, all different days. It's so hard. So
Yeah.
we'll see. But I was telling my aunt, I'm like, honestly, this journey is like at this point, it's not even about like being embarrassed that you didn't pass or any like you get so far beyond that point, you know,
Oh
and it's
gosh.
like it's more just the anticipation of it of being able to tell everyone like I passed, you know.
Yeah.
So
Well, and it's so much of it is dependent on the test too. Is it a good test? Is it not? Is it good? Is it a good writing day? Is it not? You know,
yeah,
it's so because you know you've mastered it. Now it's just a matter of it's like your aunt that's you know getting her real time test. Is it a good day to write or not? You know, she's got the skill. Like obviously, she's a working
yeah,
reporter like you. You're ready. It's just a matter of what day it is. So
yeah. If I can work on those non skill related things that hold me back, like the nerves and just like staying focused and calm, I'll pass it because I feel like at this point that's all it is. Like it's 100% mental.
hmm
So
yep.
um yeah, so I just need to
Maybe
work.
just do some takes at 225 and instead of, just really focus on just staying calm.
I was thinking like because there's no way for me personally to recreate that feeling of the real test in practice. Like there's nothing I can do because I don't get nervous for
Yeah.
tests. Like I've never experienced this with my hands shaking out of control like that. And I'm like, maybe I need to go run a mile and then come sit down and like take a test. Like, so my heart rate is up. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
how to like
Yeah.
recreate it. Like just maybe just sit down and do a test cold, you know, like don't warm up at all. Just I need something to like try to recreate that
Mhm.
environment, but it's really hard because it's like as soon as you hear that ready begin, it's like a different world, you know,
Mhm.
in a real test situation. So I don't know. I think another thing is I need to practice a little bit higher than 225 more often,
Mhm.
like push a little higher.
Mhm.
I think that will help.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
can't wait for the day that I get to tell you that I passed though.
I know. And you're so close. You're so close. Don't get frustrated.
I won't. I won't. I'm going to just keep going.
Yep. Keep going. That's right. That's right. Well, just keep me posted.
I will.
I won't bug you, but thanks for telling me. So, you know, that way you can talk about it. Real
Yeah.
quick, I'll tell you too. I used to get really nervous too. And then when I qualified, when I was going to the school and I qualified, I literally had the flu. so I always thought about that. Like, wow, I literally was throwing up that morning. I had the flu. I almost didn't go to school. And I qualified. And I know it's because I was so sick that I didn't get nervous. I couldn't get nervous. I was so sick. It was almost like I was telling myself, like, don't throw up. And then when the test was over, it was like, whoa, I got every word. But it was because I was so sick. So then I remember taking that to the test with me, like, I need to find that. I mean, obviously I don't want to be like a sloth, but it was like I took that being sick and applied it to any type of situation where my heart rate would get up, and it's like, no, just calm down. Like, think about when I was sick and how I had to just stay mellow. I don't know. It just kind of taught me something from that experience, because I was missing the test by just a fraction. And then when I got sick, you would think, okay, you're not going to probably qualify today because you're sick. But at that time, the school only had one qualifier a week. So if you missed qualifying day, you knew you had to wait and that was the last qualifier before the test. So we knew, and the test then was only every 6 months. So I knew I had to wait 6 months if I didn't. And I went in just thinking, you know what? I'm paying tuition. I'm not going to not go just because I'm sick. And then I qualified on the last one. And it was because I was just so mellow. So it just kind of taught me, like, don't get worked up because it's just going to affect your writing, And then I did go to the first test, and I did feel like I got a little bit worked up. But then it was like I started using that, like, pretend, or like envision yourself there, in the room and taking the test. And that really helped a lot because, it took me 2 times to pass that test. Although I did take the flap and double flipped it, but that was when we had paper notes. We didn't even have software, but anyways, I don't know. I'm envisioning being there, doing it. That really made a difference too. So maybe just envision yourself, like, I envision myself sitting in my office and taking my test, and I'm going to, in positive, thoughts, like I'm going to hear the words and I'm going to write them, and I'm going to stay calm.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. 'Cause I feel like the material you read, like, overqualifies us for RPR, at least the RPR. I can do RPR material. It's not hard.
Yeah.
It's really not. So it's just staying, like you said, getting in that place. Maybe because you thought you didn't have a chance. So it's like the day you were sick, maybe just like, whatever, I'm probably not going to pass because I'm sick. And then you're just like, totally calm.
Yeah. Then it was like, whoa, I just got every word of that.
Yeah, that's good. So I need to go hang around some sick people. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. If you get sick, still take that test if you're signed up. Then it kind of made sense, because then, it was kind of funny, but I was like, wow, I can't believe you're giving this advice. But when, I can't remember the name of the guy, but he came to Sage to speak. He was one of the readers for years and years and years. And I think he's still a reader. But he used to tell people, if you get worked up, just at the state test, go take a shot before your test. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's terrible you're telling people this, because that could affect somebody in a negative way, Like, what about if they can't even function? What about if they're, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
What's his name? Bob Sullivan, I think is his name. Bob something. Sullivan, I think. Anyways, he came to our school and told the students that. But he's like, my point is whatever it takes. So then I kind of thought, well, taking a shot is probably like being sick. Like, you're relaxed, because you don't feel good.
Maybe, I mean, I've heard that. My aunt has told me to, like, have a glass of wine, and I'm like,
go take some NyQuil before you take your test.
Oh my gosh. I've never tried it. I don't like the way I feel when I drink anyway. Like I'll drink sometimes socially and whatever. But lately I'm just like, I don't even like the way I feel when I drink. So I kind of
I know.
stay away from it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it would help. Maybe it would make me feel so terrible. I would do a good job.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Drink your sleepy time tea.
Oh, I have sleepy time tea. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. I've heard some people say they drink amp drinks before they take tests. I'm like, are you crazy? Your heart rate already goes up because you're nervous. Why go drink an energy drink, or coffee's just going to make you more jittery? I don't know.
I feel like I need stuff to do the opposite of that.
I do too.
Like I had at the last test, I mean, I will say I really improved leaps and bounds from the time before that, because the time before that, it was funny how bad I was shaking, and I really got it under control last time. But I used I was gonna say I had lavender, like essential oil that I had, and that kind of helped because it like relaxes me. And then I have a little like shiatsu foot massager that my mother-in-law got me, and I just sat there right before my test and just like zoned out, and
that's
did
really
that. And then my husband is so sweet. He massaged my hands.
Oh.
Because like when I passed my jury charge, that was the only time ever I was like, I had like pain in my hand. I was like, hey, will you rub my hand for a minute? And did, and then I passed. And now it's like kind of like, hey, will you rub my hands real quick for 5 minutes before I go take this test?
I can't take my test unless you're home, because you have to give me a massage on my hands.
It's like a thing now.
That's really cute. That's cute.
So I'll do anything to like pass. Really. I probably wouldn't do the shot thing though. That I don't think I would take a shot. No.
Yeah, maybe take it really late at night when you're tired.
Maybe
it doesn't hurt, or take it early in the morning when you first wake. I don't know. I guess different things. I'm not a morning, like I would rather take a test. Like when I went and took that real estate test, I took it the latest time. Like I'm more of an afternoon person, but everybody's different.
Yeah, I feel like right in the middle of the day is like around noon is good for me. Or like right after lunch.
Yeah.
Not too late in the afternoon. Like 3:00 is like nap. You start to feel like you need a nap sometimes. So I don't, but I don't know. I'll try different things. Real quick, I heard somebody on the Encouraging Students Facebook group a while ago say to try this, and it's not for a test, but it's like in preparation for a test. They said to keep your machine next to your bed. And when you first wake up and you're still like kind of in a sleepy state, like do a 5-minute take or 10 minutes or whatever, because they said you'll pass like soon after you start doing this, like every day. And I haven't tried it yet, but she said something about being in that like kind of like your subconscious has to take over because you're still in that like sleepy, groggy state. And then writing it, like, I don't know. Apparently it worked for her. So I might try that too.
Yes, you should. Try it.
Anyways.
Absolutely. It never hurts.
No, the things we do.
I know, seriously. Well, keep me posted.
I will.
All right. Have a great weekend.
You too.
All right.
Enjoy the sunshine.
Yeah, I'll enjoy the heat.
Yes, enjoy the heat.
Oh, summer now. All of a sudden it's 95.
I know. Crazy.
All right. Take care. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Okay.
See you later. Bye.
Okay, bye.